My name is Fru. Today I'm going to show you 5 agentic platforms that could be used to bring AI to your life, starting with Superset, SoloTerm, Conductor, Polyscope, and Cursor. This will be a first-hand experience on how each of these could potentially be used to bring AI to your life. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Fru again. I make videos on how to bring AI to help you in your personal life. I have 15 plus agents that work 24/7 to optimize my life, and I make these tutorials to show you exactly how. If you want to follow along, a lot of these resources are available on the AI Ready You site. Packages we talk about are also available for those that have gotten it. Thank you. If you haven't, check it out. Some useful content. Let's jump right into the very first one, which is Superset. Now, Superset, if you've thought about Cloud Code or any agentic coding tool, Superset is one obviously in the market that comes on new. The experience is geared towards the more technical users. So if you're not a technical user, Superset might be kind of a tough one to get used to. It does tie into Git, and this is what the UI essentially looks like from a perspective. If you download that, log in, if it asks you to log into Git, and the UI does look like this. Now, assuming in terms of what we talk about, you have some data you want to analyze for your lives. And we talk about this idea of having a vault, and the vault will give you a structured way to group the data domains that are relevant to you. In this example, and what you get if you get it from the vault on AI Ready U is things around your career, things around grouping data for your health, things around grouping data for your taxes, insurance, your home. Because once you have all of that, you can deploy AI on it to find efficiencies and to hopefully optimize that for you. So assuming you have that, we're going to come into Superset. You can add a new repository, but I'll skip through adding a new repository. You can come in here as well, have a new chat. But what you want to do, let's actually do the add new repository. Open up a new project, click on that, and let's go to the AI Ready U. If you have the folders downloaded from the pack on the website, just go open that up, and we want to go into the vault. Now in here, you can essentially open up just the vault. So I'm going to bring all the entire vault as my repo. Now, with your vault now available here, you can find a scenario of coming in to chat, and in here you can open up a new chat interface or a terminal. So I'll do a new chat, and this now should load up the context across the vault. So in this particular scenario, I want to do some analysis around investment. So if we think about the vault, it does have data, some data around investment, and could this analyze that for us? So let's look at analyze my investments documents in the wealth folder alongside my taxes, and this is where now you're cross-pollinating the insights because you just don't want to have one single insight. And let's see what this brings back for us. Are there any positions I should consider selling at a loss or an offset for capital gains this year? Let's throw AI on top. It says not logging to Anthropic, and that is a problem. You're gonna want to come in here. Let's initialize this. Try this one more time, and throw this same prompt. And in this case, it works. It works. But the challenge with this now is if it works for the terminal as such, because I'm logging to Anthropic this way, you could as well just do it from the CLI. Does it really make a difference if you have a CLI running here or if you have a CLI running out of here? I know this will go analyze it. It's going to use the power of Anthropic. It's going to look at that vault data and it will bring the results. Just a little bit disappointed that the UI couldn't allow me to do it as such. So here is the analysis. And for those that are in the US, this is kind of tax season. So having an analysis like this could be very interesting. So, and all of this is synthetic data. So none of this is real data. I'm not a tax advisor. I don't give tax advice on this channel. This is just for demo and illustrative purposes. So here it comes in with some suggestions. If you are doing some analysis, this could be an interesting result to get. So would I switch to Superset? I is for using it as AI for my life. So I had to make the choice at this point. I'm not seeing the compelling reason. And then you can see that Superset is clearly built for builders because everything here is kind of tied into Git, and at some point it's going to ask me to push this to a branch. As somebody who is using AI for my life, if you have Claude code, or if you have Claude Cowork, to be honest, I might just stick to that than changing to Superset just yet. But at least you've heard about Superset. Now you know what it is. If you're a builder, if you're building applications and such, there might be a reason for it. But if you're just using AI for your life, I think the reasons to switch are not as compelling just yet. Next one we're going to look at here is SoloTerm. SoloTerm also talks about being an agentic platform. I've opened up the UI. You can clearly see I haven't gotten in yet. Actually, let's go back over to uh, to um, to Superset. There is a pricing that's attached to this. For some reason, I can't quite see how to get that. So if you upgrade, you can potentially get some more features. But here is the question: if you're paying for Cloud Max plan, as I'm doing, and you get the co-work and the CLI from it, is there a justification to pay for this? Kind of a tough for my audience, I would say, to swallow. So just something to keep in mind. Now, going back to SoloTerm, in here it also says upgrade, and let's actually click on that. You can get the key, get the upgrade, and to get that key you're gonna have to purchase. But before we have a judgment on that, let's get an experience on what it looks like. The mission here is still simple. Can I point at this to my wealth and tax document for it to do the analysis for us? And what does that UI look like? Again, this is all synthetic data. So in here there is a, let's see, there's a settings, kind of a busy settings. There are agents, there are terminals, and commands. So let's go add a new agent. And it says we need to give it a name. Let's call it tax prep. It doesn't work. So let's do a Claude agent. Allow documents. Yes, I trust this folder. And yes. Okay, so this brings us still in Claude, and not in the right folder that I want. So if I need to point it to my taxes, it will, or to the wealth document, you're gonna have to potentially switch. So I get it. Let's go over to add a new project here, and I'm gonna come into this. I'll add the project, which is my vault. Open up my vault. So the entire vault is open as a new project, and Cloud Code is getting initialized. I can tell you, not the cleanest UI I've seen in my day. So this is the Vault project we've created. Now, if I add a new agent, and I will make it a Cloud agent, actually, this is more interesting. This is more like what I was expecting. So I'll close this. So if I initialize a new project within the Vault, now I can put in that prompt we had. Won't let me get the prompt in. I'll get my prompt again. So go ahead and put in the prompt. Oh wow, it really doesn't want to let me paste that, doesn't it? Does it? All right. So same prompt to analyze that. Now I have an agent working on that. In here, we had it just as a CLI, and this is looking at Superset. Now we're back in SoloTerm, and the agent is essentially just Claude CLI in my view, wrapped inside of a UI. Now, could we have more agents? Add more agents in here. So in this case, I'll do another Claude agent. It opens up in that same folder. And now, instead of analyzing for taxes, let's analyze something else. Let's put in a different prompt. And this prompt, and it's hard to tell, but Control V is not working for me. So the taxes apparently was analyzed by Claude. Let's go to this one, and in here I'm going to paste this. And now you can imagine now having multiple of these agents, but the agent itself is just a CLI wrapped into a UI. So kind of had to make a solid case for it. If we're just getting a CLI wrapped into it, is there a reason to use this? Maybe. Would I be switching to it? Not as compelled at this moment, but at least we know what SoloTerm is. While that's working, let's move over to the next one, and this is Conductor. Conductor. It sounds very compelling for the name Conductor, like he's gonna conduct all our agents. We still have a simple problem. We have our vault. We want to point AI to it and analyze it for us. So let's. You can clone a repo, open a local repo, or do a quick start. Let's go with the quick start, and I'm gonna browse to point it to my vault location because that's where all the data is. So in here, empty, Next.js, gstack. Interesting. So gstack is actually here. Let's call this conductor demo and create. Again, the challenge with a lot of these tools is they are heavy on app builders. If you're building apps, it definitely could be compelling. But if your goal is just AI for life, which is what we talk a lot about on this channel, clearly I'm just not even able to make a progress here unless I'm trying to do an empty template, and below you can see it says fail to create repo. GraphQL name already exists in this account, create repository. That is very interesting. Is it the name? I don't think the name is the issue. Well, I guess the name was the issue. All right, the name was actually the issue. So somehow we've gotten in there, not the smoothest experience with Conductor. And in here is initializing a branch, which is just definitely not what I want to do because this is not, I'm not building an app. The goal is if you've set up your vault and you want to point AI at it to help your life be efficient, is Conductor the tool to use? Well, what do you guys think? What do you think? You think it's a yes? For me, it's a no at this point. So it's initializing a GitHub repo in here. And can we throw in a question? Well, I can't unless the repo has been fully initialized. Let's open up a new tab. I don't like this idea of having tabs as such because you can have your wealth vault, you can have your health, your taxes, all open up in different tabs, which is why I made a video about CMOX because I like the tabs than just having one CLI. But yes, it's using Opus 4.6, GPT-4, all of those are available, but just not as compelling just yet. Detecting setup script. I'm honestly not sure what's getting set up, but I can tell for now that this is a pass. Next one is Polyscope. So Polyscope, again, heavy on the Git repo. I will choose a local. Open this up because this is tied to Git so much. I'm sure if I open this up, I was expecting it to complain. Now it's looking at the vault, opens up a CLI for us. Opus 4.6 is available if I throw in my prompt, which is to review the business and taxes folders and make some recommendations. What does it say for us? Does it actually work? And then it's running a CLI, it's renaming a branch, it's doing things that this is my demo environment, so I could go back and rebuild that folder structure. I'm not too concerned. But if you're a developer, these tools are really meant for developers. If you are just an average day person trying to use AI for your life, like we talk about here, then coming into Polyscope might just be way over the top. And in good conscience, it's hard for me to say this is the way to go. And not to talk about that to get more features, you're gonna have to upgrade to Pro. So think about having Claude Pro or the Max plan, and then adding this to it just to get this UI. We're gonna have to swipe on this one. Let's actually take a look at this. There is a terminal in here, and again, just another terminal that we can do without. So the last but not least is Cursor. Cursor has been around for a while. It used to be a favorite for me, but this current version, I think this is Cursor 3, if I can see the version I'm running, they have leaned very heavily into the agentic experience, not so much the coding experience. So I'll open up a new project in here, AI Ready U. I'll open up my vault and create a project from here. Now, I'm very curious, honestly, to see what this UI looks like. It's been a while since I've been on Cursor. And the reason for that is Cloud Code just gives a lot of what I used to get from Cursor. So there's that chat interface here, and what you can do is let's go to the agent experience. So the agent experience is a little bit more, not as intimidating for non-technical users. So if we've opened that up and now we are in the agent experience, in the Vault folder, so you can clearly see this is the Vault folder right here. I will come in, and out of this, I think Cursor so far seems to be the most compelling. Come in here, create a new agent, and give it that prompt, just like that. And this prompt is review the business and taxes folder. Based on that, make recommendations. Now, what model is it using? Cursor has your own model, which is Composer, but Composer is built for writing code. If you're building applications and you're just trying to speed out as many code as possible, speed out as many functions as possible or features, sure, Composer definitely makes sense. But if you just want pure intelligence power, in my opinion, Opus is second to none. But let's do Auto. So with Auto, Cursor will be taking the lead on selecting the best model. And so I'm kind of curious what this will come back to be honest. So I'll go ahead on that because I'm in that folder. It should figure out the different folders, access that, use the best model, read the documents. And while this is going, we can open up another one in here with a different prompt, another agent with a different prompt, and voila. Right now, so right here, let's rename this. This could be wealth and this. Well, I had to type wealth and business, and then this could be tax optimization. So in a, and then that's the welcome. So in some universe, I could see this being a plausible scenario if all you have is just every now and then you just want to come in and talk about your wealth or your tax documents, that it's possible to have this agents here, call them agents, and agents is kind of a loaded term. I'm actually working on a detailed video about agents. But assuming this is all you have, you can have your wealth here. And did it come up with any recommendations? Very interesting. The recommendations are okay. I like the disclaimer, and I would definitely second is disclaimer, not being a tax professional. This is just for demo purposes. And it says simplify versus actual. Does it give any recommendations? Nope, it didn't give any recommendations. Comparing this result with what we got from just pure Claude, I tend to think Claude, again, this is not tax advice. This is just us being curious about what these models do. But the Claude results are always more fascinating to me than this. It's just verbose. It doesn't actually show the numbers or the calculations. It's just verbose. Now, if I switch this and say answer with 4.6, answer again, does it change anything? And then at the same time, now you can switch to your wealth as well. So one of the things that Paperclip does exceptionally well, and that's why we do tutorials on it, is you can essentially have those agents pointed to your vault, focusing on the different domains and running on a schedule. But if that's not your requirement, if the scheduling piece, the having it run on a heartbeat is not what you care about, there could be a world where you use Cursor, open it up every once a week on Sunday evening or whatever makes sense to you. Scroll down to your 15 or so agents, which are here, which are essentially just pointing to the folders within the vault, have conversations, and that could honestly work. My goal here is not, like I've said, it's not about Paperclip per se or OpenClaw, but it's about what works for you. What is the goal you're trying to achieve? And if you achieve your goals with this, that could essentially be it. And if this model is not giving you what you want, the interesting thing about Cursor is you can switch to Opus and do the same. Answer that, and while that agent is running, you can go have another agent running until you get to and it's interesting that this happened with what, just two prompts. It's asking us a free plan can only use auto, and if you don't want to use the auto, switch over to upgrade. And here is the question now. You have Claude, ideally Claude Pro plan or the Max plan, and you've paid for that every single month. Now you're adding Cursor on that, and then you gotta upgrade and pay for that every single month. I'm just doing a checkout here, and it says this is about $20 or so a month. Is that justified? Or if you've invested in Claude already, co-work then becomes the interface for you. So I'm not gonna really try to adjudicate this one way or another, but just to say, hey, most of these tools, the 5 tools we've looked about, just to go through the list here, starting with Superset, SoloTerm, Conductor, Polyscope, and Cursor are very interesting. If you are a developer, if your workflow is around building applications, creating pull requests in Git, merging, branching, and all of that, it makes sense. But if you are just an average day non-technical person trying to use AI to optimize your life, these are things that are interesting to know about. For now, it's hard for me to have specific recommendations on switching to any one of that. But then, if you are looking to take your agents, which we've talked about, and orchestrate it, Paperclip still is compelling. Now, would this be the future? I don't know. Something might come after Paperclip, but as long as you have a vault, you have your data structured, you have things where they need to be. Your agents are immutable and separate from the tools on top of them. You are AI ready. You know that if Paperclip succeeds, fine. If it doesn't, whatever comes after Paperclip, you can ride that wave. If any of these tools are interesting to you, you can jump on it. But if none of them are compelling, that is fine. The one that's compelling to you, just use it, point to your vault, which is what we've talked about here, and you are off, ready to go. That is what it takes to be AI ready, and that's what we talk about on this channel, helping you as an individual, not building applications, not doing startups, none of those, but thinking about your life, how you could be AI ready. So check out the resources we have here, support the channel. I've gotten a lot of feedback. A lot of folks have gotten this. Thank you for those that I haven't. If you feel that this is way too much for you, grab it, send it to somebody that might get value out of it, that needs to be AI ready, and that might just help them. It comes to with a PDF on about 200 or so prompts that will spur ideas in your head. So that really means a lot. As always, thank you. This is Fruit. Thank you for watching and sticking to the end. I will see you in the next demo.